Alright, so today we are back and this time we are talking about logo brands. Mr. Tin, you are going to have to pay attention this time and see if you could get the 330 to show up. Ready? Let's see the logo. Pringles. Santa Claus.
I could go with Pringles Kris Kringle.
Pringles Kris Kringle, Mr. Tin, you do not understand. How does that happen? Pringles with a mustache and Santa Claus as Kris Kringle. Mr. Tin, we're gonna put this on the news, and Miles Neff is not going to like this. So get it right, or you resign. Sears, NEC. These two companies are from Audio Video Labs Inc., located in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Well, I think Miles Neff is gonna see that.
Miles Neff, Miles Neff, Miles Neff. Sears and NEC are not on the 330. Mr. Tin, you do not, and I mean, you do not, and did you put NBC on the 330, the V, in place of the?
Moonquake Lake, Moonquake, 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 na 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 na, na na.
Mr. Tin, you don't own me at Sears and NBC. Do not put NBC on the 330. Oklahoma's News Channel 8 is not affiliated with NBC. And now it's Sears NBC. Mr. Tin, NBC doesn't have ears, and they don't need to be on the 330, and now it's Ears NBC. Mr. Tin, NBC really hears everything, and they also don't need to be on the 330, THE at the top, and 3:30 at the bottom. Moonquake Lake. And now you are gonna try to use 50-50. Here's NBC does not allow 50-50. And now you are really gonna try to use the 50-50. Go right ahead. There. I can't believe you had to try to use 50-50 because of Leilani Jones Wilmore, and who changed the font to match the logo from 1986. You, Mr. Tin, are in big trouble. Mr.
I am. Clinton in my office right now. Mr. This is the second time you did this. Maybe we need to consider transferring you to Mr. Will Stacks. You see, this picture right here is Pringles and Mr. Kris Kringle, who is formerly known as Santa Claus. If Stacks sees this, he's gonna be so mad that he's gonna go 500. Let's take a look back at last week. And last week we talked about Cox Communications and St. John. Shall we? And there you are. Cox Communications and St. John. What are we going to do with all that?
Well, Mr. Neff, I was thinking about taking this videotape to Will Stacks up in New York City, but I'm afraid he's not gonna like all this.
Let's take a look back at this picture again. Pringles and Mr. Kris Kringle, and this picture would be on the news right now. Mr. I'm afraid that your time was up 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes of overtime, and that does not cut it. Mr. I need you to come back into my office again tomorrow, and if Stacks made the approval for charge of the Pringles Kris Kringle 330 blooper, you will be transferred to Stacks building up in New York City.
And welcome back to the Ben Sumner Show here on KVOK 740 on your dial Ben Sumner with special guest Miles Neff. And Mr. Neff, earlier today you talked to Clint Boone about the picture of the Pringles Kris Kringle blooper from a local television program called The 330. Mr. Neff, can you explain why Pringles Kris Kringle might be your final answer?
Pringles and Mr. Kris Kringle are not what I had in mind, but something changes every time I see the 330 on Channel 8 here in Tulsa, and everyone thinks this blooper is not what we've been looking for on local television as well.
And so with that, Mr. Neff, what about the transfer to Stacks building up in New York City for Mr. Clint Boone?
Well, Mr. Boone's been part of this agency right here in Tulsa for many years, and now he's transferring to New York City to start a new agency with Mr. Will Stacks.
Well, Mr. Neff, it is so great to see you back. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Clint Boone, you have put Pringles and Mr. Kris Kringle on the news. What are we going to do now?
Miles Neff got caught in the assassination of Pringles and Santa Claus. Santa Claus, known as Kris Kringle, appeared at the bottom half of the infamous 330 logo seen on a local news station, and agent Will Stacks confirmed approval for the rights to this iconic 330 blooper. The Pringles man appeared at the top half of the logo itself as well, making this logo a smash hit, and can be seen in a parody of the 330, coming sometime in 2018.
That's it, Mr. Clinton. I have had enough of you and your little Pringles thing you're talking about here. I want you out. And never come back into my office again. Because now, Mr. Wilstax is taking over this office, and you're gonna like it.
Hello, Mr. Clinton. My name is Wilstax. Welcome to my office.
So what are we going to do with this picture showing Mr. Pringles and Kris Kringle as Santa Claus from the 330 blooper me and Mr. Tin came up with a couple days ago?
Mr. This is your new agency, and I don't think you are smarter enough than the average bear that you needed to talk about Pringles and Kris Kringle. Maybe you can try to consider showing this picture again, and you could email that to my office computer, and I will show it to my coworkers here. How about that?
Sure, I can do that. Mr. Tin, you screw this up one more time, you resign. Talking about Pringles and Kris Kringle, what is wrong with you? That's it, Mr. Tin, we are out of here. I cannot believe that you're not way smarter than the average bear. And now, I'm with a new agent named Mr. Wilstax. He has a foster kid named Annie, and they are from the 2014 film Annie. And it takes place in New York City. And no one cares for her a bit when she is a foster kid. And Mr. Tin, you are not a foster kid. You doofus. Sphincter. And be sure and subscribe to the Garrett Leach channel to get notifications from the 330 Bloopers series. And what was with Christmas trees anyway?